Hi guys, it's Floz and this is Floz's Corner, and this will be my very first video on my own channel. I thought it will be a pretty good intro video to talk about what I am or how I am as a stitcher and what I finished in 2022 and also my whips going forward to 2023. Let's go. Like I mentioned, this will be my very first video on my own channel, but this is not my first time making FlozTube videos. I was actually making videos on the channel called 𝓕𝓵𝓸𝔃𝓃𝓮. It's a channel that I shared with my hubby JP, and probably end of last year we made a decision to split channels, so he got to keep that channel, which will turn into a wargaming channel predominantly now, and I get to create my new channel, and it's a good opportunity to pretty much start fresh. It's exciting and it's daunting at the same time, but that means I'll have full control of the channel, put up whatever contents I enjoy making and enjoy sharing, and if it's girly, it's okay because it's my own channel. So yeah, that's pretty much the concept behind this split, and hopefully with the split the contents we put out will be more consistent and it won't play around or play outside the algorithms too much, and there will be more consistent growth on both channels as well. So in terms of what I stitch, actually I should start with when I started stitching. So I started making videos on the other channel from I think November 2020, and my stitching journey started a few months before that, so May 2020, and I thought I would just start off by doing a kit just in case I didn't like it, so at least I could just stop at the kit, and turns out I really enjoyed it and it just started growing there. So technically I'm still a young stitcher. It's only been 2.5 years or something like that, going on to 3 years, but I do like a challenge and I tend to like bigger pieces. And I do like to experiment with different counts, different fabrics, different techniques. So in terms of collecting, I'm not a huge collector compared to some of the other stitchers or even floss tubers. I tend to be on the logical side when it comes to spending. So I even have a hobby budget where I just give myself $50 a month to spend on cross stitches, and that started possibly, I want to say two years ago, or maybe less than 2 years ago. It's still going and it's going okay. I have limited a lot of the things I tend to want to buy with the hobby budget. Do you say techniques? Method? What else can I tell you? So even though I don't tend to hoard, I do collect Dimensions Gold Collection kits, but I'm not collecting for collecting's sake. It is more like if there's something I really enjoy, I will purchase it. Otherwise, yeah, I don't want to have a huge collection. In terms of stitching, I think that's it. If I remember something, I guess through watching my videos, you'll get a feel of how I am, what I'm like when I stitch, and what I like normally, so my taste in charts and kits. But as far as like who I am a pharmacist. I don't work in a community setting anymore. I actually work sort of in an industry setting. So my working hours are on the unusual side. I work sort of late night-ish, and I'm a full-time worker. I have 2 greyhounds, and I used to have a girl greyhound, but she passed away last year, so we adopted 2 boys. And greyhounds will be a very regular occurrence, or greyhounds will make regular appearances on this channel. And I am Chinese. I was born in China, grew up in China, and I came to Australia, Melbourne, Australia, when I was 18. Well, pretty much a couple months after I turned 18, and I've lived here ever since. And that's pretty much it. If you think I have an accent, or my English is not very smooth, or I'm sometimes not making sense, that's because English is my second language. I think that's pretty much the intro. I'm hoping this first video will not be too long. Because I tend to like stitching big things, I don't tend to finish things very often, and ever since I started stitching, I started having this habit of wanting to gift people things cross-stitch related. So very rarely do I stitch things just for myself, sadly. And when it comes to gifting people, I get to try out sort of smaller designs. But personally, for my own pleasure, I just tend to lean towards big designs. And yeah, I don't tend to finish things. So generally, if I do finish, they will be fully finished relatively quickly because I need to gift them out. So I tend to get them professionally framed because they tend to be gifts. Very rarely do I frame things myself, but I have very badly before. So now I will just I guess show you some of the things I finished last year, because some of these things sort of get stitched for a long time. I don't quite remember how long I was stitching them for. If I could find out the information, it would all be sort of on the screen. So the first thing I finished in 2022 was neural stem cell electron microscope, although it should have been fluorescent microscope. So that one, I feel like I stitched for, I want to say, getting on to a year. It's not a super big design, but originally I wanted to stitch it on black Aida, so I didn't have to stitch all the black background, but I really hated how it looked, so I restarted, even though I possibly have finished like 25% of the project. So after I restarted, I might have stitched for like 6 months or something. So then eventually I finished that, I think Jan or Feb of 2022, and that one would have been, and that one was very quickly framed and gifted to my hubby. So now there will be a picture of the fully framed project on his desk. I don't know why I didn't take a photo of it by itself after I fully framed it, but that's how I roll. I forget to take photos of things. What can I tell you? So that was an Etsy chart, and I think they said to stitch it on Aida, but I stitched it on 25 count, I think. I did 2/1 on the black and 1/1 for the other colors. It was very confetti heavy, and I remember not liking stitching it because it's not very satisfying, and there were many grains, and I get bored if it's very like one color scheme heavy. So that's that. And then I think the second thing I finished was the Napping Kitten by Dimensions Gold Petite. There would have been a picture of what it looked like when I first finished it and when I framed it. So that one would have taken maybe half a year or so. I didn't stitch it consistently. It would have been here and there at the start, and then getting more and more consistent towards the end. I might have finished it in December. No, sorry, not December. September, I think. That one. So that one I stitched as a gift for my sister-in-law. And originally I was hoping to get it finished within like, I don't know, several months. So it could be like a late birthday gift, but it didn't happen. So I ended up gifting her over Christmas as her Christmas gift. With that, I did frame it myself. I literally just bought a cheap IKEA frame, and I had like some random thin, do you say mad balls, to like stretch the fabric a bit, and then just stuffed it at the back with the like the backing of the frame, the backing of the photo frame that just came with the whole thing. What can I tell you? So I like that chart, or like that kit, because it looked very colorful, but actually all the colors were just sort of on the edge with the flowers. The main body of the cat was quite brown, so there's a lot of brown, and I did get quite bored of it. That one was stitched on 18 count 8, I want to say. And with that I tried a lot of half stitches, and I actually quite enjoy them. I used basket weave, and that was the first time I tried the basket weave stitch out. The back looked quite cute because all the zigzagging. And then I finished Wedding Sampler by 𝓕𝓵𝓸𝔃𝓃𝓮, and that was my very first time stitching 𝓕𝓵𝓸𝓃𝓮 pattern. I thought I would give myself a challenge, because in the end the stitched result, the stitched result would be a wedding gift for my friend's wedding back in October, but it didn't happen. So I ended up finishing it possibly in November, I think end of November-ish. And that one I stitched for more than a year, I feel like, because I remember feeling confident that I left myself enough time, but I didn't realize how much time it would have taken with all the intricate details that it required. And with that chart I really learned a lot, because there were many specialty stitches, and the names and all that were stitched over one on linen. So that one was stitched on 32 count platinum Belfast linen, and that's what the pattern called for. So yeah, there was many, like there was a lot of beading done as well. And in terms of the framing, I mean I haven't gifted the wedding sampler, I can't talk, wedding sampler to my friend yet, because we just didn't get to meet each other before she went off to do her like Vietnamese wedding in Vietnam. And I mean I could have showed it to you, but I was really suffering last time when I was trying to block out their names with post editing. That was literally like more than 5 hours of my life wasted. So I'm just gonna show you pictures here. Because I knew it was going to be a wedding gift. So I wanted the frame to be sort of grand looking-ish. And because like the border satin stitches had silver and light gold color, which technically wasn't what the pattern called for, but it's what I ended up substituting. I went with the color, the frame color, sort of gold, silverish gold, and that really made the whole thing pop. Yeah, with that pattern I made so many mistakes. I think I might have, oh yeah, I left out some stuff as well. I left out all the lazy daisies in one of the sections, but it still looked good. And I also added my own personal touch. Their wedding was a boat wedding, so I added an anchor instead of the and in sort of in between different names. And that's that. And turns out, so I rarely stitch like festive or seasonal things, but last year I ended up stitching something Christmassy. So I did finish this, and it's not fully finished. So that's the only one I can show today that I finished 2022. This is Jingle Paws. I actually got the pattern as like a freebie with another purchase from someone on Aussie Cross Stitch Stash Unload. So it's this one. It does have instructions on how to fully finish as what the preview shows, but I don't know, I'm a bit scared, so I haven't attempted that yet. So for now, I just leave it like this. And that's what I finished in 2022. Now going to 2023, I have 8 whips. One is here, as you can see. I laid it out like that because it's almost done and I was still working on it with beading, and there's all the like ribbon embroideries and all that, so I didn't want to flatten it. So the first one is Victorian Elegance. It is really close to being finished. There's literally just some beading left. When I say some, I mean still a lot of beading, but all the ribbons are done. I don't think they got done very well, but at least they were done. Yeah, so this one, I feel like I was working on it getting to 1.5 years or something. I don't think it took me super long to finish all the cross stitching and back stitching, but when it came to using the opal threads and the ribbon embroideries and all that, it just took me ages because every step was a pain in the bum to me. So that kind of delayed the progress by a lot. And this one was stitched this one is stitched on 28 count mushroom even weave 3/2. What can I tell you? What else can I tell you? So when I got this kit, it was a second hand and it was a US print. So for Dimensions Gold collection, you can get 2 different prints. The older prints are US prints. It's when all the threads were bundled together and there's instructions on how to separate different threads onto their thread cards. And then there's the Chinese prints for the more recent stuff. So those ones will have their own sorted threads already stuck onto like this cardboard thingy. Yeah, so this is the US print. And it's almost done. Yeah, I still have the invisible thread on here on the needle. I think there's still a lot of beading, possibly this way and here and on the ear, but it shouldn't take long. I should get this done this month, but sometimes the closer I get, the lazier I get, and that's one of my problems. And I know it's very wrinkled, but I don't know how to iron things properly, so I might, I don't know, once it's done, I'm not sure whether I want to try ironing it again or just leave it for the framers. So that's the Victorian Elegance. And then the next whip I'm gonna show you is the Jingle Paws again, because as you can see it's a series of 4 different designs. I finished one, but I still have 3 more. So this is, no, this one. I definitely not halfway yet. Yeah, so this one is stitched on 14 count Aida 3/1. The part I finished was actually using 2 threads over 1, so it's wrong. This one I did it correctly, so it's 3. Right now I don't feel like stitching it yet, because a lot of these are sort of samey, because if you closely look at them, there's a lot of border and it's kind of 1 color or 2 color-ish. I get really bored. Just gonna pop some pins back. And then I'll show you this one. I haven't got this one out for a long time. So this is my 3rd whip. It is a Good Take by 𝓕𝓵𝓸𝔃𝓃𝓮. When did I start it? I feel like I might have started it 2021, sort of end of 2021. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so it's Greyhound themed. And oh, I should have shown you a preview there. So I purchased the PDF chart. The project itself is actually rather large, but obviously you can see it's sampler, so it's not full coverage. Pretty much all the colors were changed because, you know, it's a sampler. You can use whatever colors you want. So I just wanted to use whatever I have to complete this, other than the hand-dyed threads here. I wanted like a color shift. Can you tell there's a color shift? With the color filling of the main Greyhound, I should have plotted in the cross-stitch software, but I still haven't done it. That's my bad. I've just been really lazy. And yeah, this one is, I think, 32 count hand-dyed fabric. It's called Lily Pad. I don't think you can find it anymore. It just came with a cross-stitch like subscription bag, and you can pay extra to get a piece of like fat quarter hand-dyed fabric, and that's what we got because the theme was frog. I happen to have got a frog themed bag. And I don't know, that subscription bag didn't really impress me, so I didn't go along with it. And with my hobby budget, that's too expensive as well to do regularly. So that was my first and last bag. I should get back to it. Yeah, so I mean, personally as a stitcher, I don't like samplers, primitive stuff, too childish looking things. I don't stitch. If it's for someone else, I might consider if that person might like it. But for my own taste, I don't like them. So I thought this one had a greyhound. I might feel different, but I still don't enjoy stitching this. I get quite happy when I stitch the words though, because with hand-dyed fabric you do get to see the gradient in colors, so that's quite cool. But everything else, oh, I completed the greyhound quite quickly, just the outline, but that's about it. But it's a very easy stitch otherwise, because it's quite geometric. And a lot of the time, if you get the border done, you just fill in the colors for the flowers and leaves and all that. So it will be quite nice if you're watching something quite intense and you just want to fill in the time. That's that. And this is the fourth one. I think this is the fourth one. The fourth one is Coffee Break by Designworks. It's another kit, and everything I used was from the kit. This one was stitched on 14 count as well, 2/1. It is quite large again, so the completed cross stitch would have been 12 inch by 16 inch. And as you can see, this is how much I did. I haven't quite finished the fourth one yet. Normally I try to complete one square at a time, but this fourth one really bored me out because it's very pink cream and it had nothing, well, the colors at least had nothing to do with coffees. So I kept pushing it and then just gave up in the end. Yeah, I know it's wrinkly, but most of my projects are very wrinkly. But the rest look really good. Yeah, I don't know how long it will take for me to finish it. Obviously, I still have another 7 and something. Yeah. It's hard to say how long it will take. So this one's actually stitched for the house. Once completed, I'll put it in the kitchen somewhere, because we do have a lot of coffee related things. And if you're wondering where I got different like needle minders, I'll list all the details down in the description below, because sometimes I'll forget to mention different things in the video. I'm very good at that. But yeah, if I remember where I got everything, I'll just always list them. And the fifth whip, the preview will be here. So it is an Etsy chart again, and this one is a gift for a friend that designed our I guess logo, face logo. I just call it bunnies. There's no proper name for the chart. And oh god, it's like dog hair everywhere. That's how much I did. There's pretty much 2 bunnies surrounded by like a wreath, floral wreath type of thing. And the fabric is a hand-dyed blue fabric by 𝓕𝓵𝓸𝔃𝔃𝓽𝓾 design. 𝓕𝓵𝓸𝓃𝓃𝓮. It is a 16 count 𝓕𝐴. With this one, because it's a PDF chart, I used Markup RXP, and the chart itself is not very compatible with the program, but I made it work. It's okay. And yeah, it's not very exciting to stitch because a lot of gray, brown, beige, and even in the wreath, I thought it was going to be a lot more exciting, but you don't get to the exciting blues very often. That's a shame. And how long did I stitch this for? I don't know, 6 months? Maybe less than that. I think it's one of the more recent starts, I think. Yeah. And the problem with my whips is that sometimes they're quite old and I really don't remember when I started them. The 6th one is the most recent start. It is by Luca-S. It's another kit as well, called Paris in Flowers. This is my very first Luca-S kit as well. It is another big boy. So it's stitched on 18 count, 𝓕𝓼, 2/1. The completed size would be 47 by 34 centimeters. This one, originally, I was just taking photos of the chart and marking it off in a PDF reader. But in my previous videos, I mentioned I wanted to try to scan it like really well to see whether I can put it into Markup RXP and fully utilize the software to track different symbols. I made it work, but it's hard to record how much I already stitched on the current page. So I want to finish the current page first and then with Markup RXP stitch all the other ones. I think that will be much faster. And this is my progress. So this way? Yeah, this way. I'm just using a Q-snap for that. This one is 11 by 17 inches. It is quite pretty. I stitched on it, I think I started maybe end of November, and December I was stitching on this one semi-regularly, so I made a lot of progress. I would say I am definitely more than halfway on page 2. Maybe 60%, 65%, something like that. But yeah, it's a really nice pattern to stitch. Very exciting. Because you do get, at least on this page, you do get a lot of colors, so you can sort of jump around. That's my 6. So the other 2 are even larger, and they are on the quantum frames. The first one is my oldest whip. Oh Jesus. Let me show you the preview first. It's the Countryside by, what did I say here? Stitch DMC, but sometimes I've seen Max Stitch as well. I believe it's a Chinese company. I don't think I've found anything that says this is like a bootleg of some other artist's work. So I'm just gonna say this is original. Yeah, everything I used was from the kit as well. The floss that got included would have been CXC, even though they do give you DMC numbers. Did I say it's 14 count data? I don't think I did. And with this one, I tried out gridding as well using this, like, I don't know, magic guide or some kind of guide thread. It almost feels like fishing line. It's that like plasticky feeling type of thread. And it took me ages to grid it, but I don't know whether it's worth it. It's probably not now, but sometimes it helps. And yeah, I haven't stitched on this for a long time. And this is so far my progress. So this is on a like quantum frame, but 80 centimeters long. I am on the last few pages for the first roll of pages. So this one should have 18 pages. Either 18 or 15 pages. Can't remember. You know what? I've got it here. Let's see. Page 18. Yeah, 18 pages. So yeah, I'm on the last 2.5. And I did like a few here as well. A little bit. It looks better sort of further away, but when I look at it close up, it doesn't look very nice. This pattern actually has backstitch as well, but I'll see how I go with backstitching. You generally just backstitch the trees and branches, maybe just to make them pop more. Oh, and also I do realize I possibly didn't leave enough like excess fabric on that side. It's because I started like on the grid, even though I should have like gone beyond it 10 stitches, but I forgot. It's okay. This one, whenever it's done, will be given to my parents, but judging by the speed, I'm not sure. I started the countryside when I started making videos, so it's been more than 2 years. 2 years and 3 months, something like that. And the last book I'm going to show you, the 8th one, is by 𝓕𝓵𝓸𝔃𝓃𝓮. Actually, there should have been a preview here. It's called Spring Will Come. I was storing it away and now it is all kind of crooked, unfortunately. And that's how much I've done. It's about 10%, like 10.4%. This one is done on 16 count 𝐴𝐸𝐴. I've completed 1 page fully. That's pretty much all blue, and I'm doing this and this page, these 2 pages together. It's stopping me from enjoying it because of the color scheme. There's a big moon in the middle, and the moon has really boring color scheme. It's just white and grey and very light purple sort of color. But I'm using markup RXP, so when I do stitch it, it should be like efficient. This one, how big is it? 211 by 300, I think. And it has 72 colors maybe. What else can I? Oh, so once this one is done, it's my own gift, because I just really love the pattern. It's kind of Chinese themed as well. And it is my first and only artisy pattern. And that's all my 8 whips. 8 whips will soon be 7, and I realized the things I stitch on, like I stitch right now, are pretty much all Aida. So I should start on something like with even weave or linen, because your Aidas get boring quick. You want to change up how you stitch a little bit from time to time. And that is the end of the video, I think. Let me know whether you enjoyed my video. I hope you did. And at times I couldn't talk properly. Maybe it's because, you know, very first video on my very own channel, I just feel a bit nervous, daunted. I know a lot of people do like my cross stitch stash, that kind of video. I prefer not to, but if you would like to see my small stash, comment below, let me know. Otherwise, subscribe to my channel, and I'm hoping to give you more good content. And yeah, so with my own channel, I want to continue what I did on the previous channel, but sort of show more of how I do things. I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, just talk about topics I care about, and maybe create more ways to interact with you in the future. And yeah, let me know what you want to know, what you want to see. If you have any questions, just comment down below, let me know, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.